Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Steph from the High Moving Podcast. So, the national championship is over. Michigan dog walks University of Washington. And, it is very rare in college football where we'll get a back and forth national championship game go down to the wire. Usually, the last two teams standing, the dominant team will win, right? Going to this game was tricky just because it's like, hey, listen, Washington, they won the best offensive line award of the year, and all year everybody's talked about Michigan's front line, their D line and their offensive line. So this made for an interesting matchup, and the Washington Huskies stood no chance at all. And sad as me to say this, because I've been his fan all year. In a vacuum, I thought he was the best quarterback prospect, and he got exposed tonight. Exposed sound harsh, because it makes it sound like he's been fraudulent. No, and Michael Penix is a great quarterback, I think. Still had a hell of a season. The team, guided his team all the way to the national championship game. And they just went up a team that was just more physical. Big Ten football reigns supreme. What Mike Penix experienced, he left the game battered. And, he left. What he experienced, was essentially like, Michigan was a strong, the corners covered very well. The D-line was getting home, if not collapsing that pocket, and really made Mike Penix uncomfortable. And essentially what he saw was an NFL defense, right? And NFL evaluators are going to look at this. And, unfortunately for him, his stock will go down. I was high on Mike Penix. I thought, listen, if a top NFL team looking for a quarterback, should he be the third quarterback taken? Should he be the second to third quarterback taken, right? And if he had really showcased himself in this game and they somehow won, or if not, this game came down to the wire, people will still look on the field and be like, yeah, but Mike Penix was probably the best, was still, most likely the best player on this field, right? Nah. And he got banged up, and he's been injury prone dating back to his days at University of Indiana, right? There's a lot of questions this year. Despite his success going forward on the next level, teams are going to, want to be reserved in picking Mike Penix because of his injury history. You saw what a real defense out there did. They laid the wood on that boy, and he left hobbling, right? So his stock went down, man. Biggest loser of the night is Mike Penix, right? There was a lot of eyes on this game. Michigan was talked about just from their skill position players, their D-line, their O-line, right? You saw that. Washington's O-line just couldn't. In these national championship games, best O-line versus best D-line, man, you're taking the best D-line 9 times out of 10. Have to, right? This is a classic case of defense win championships. Their defense dominated. Michigan ran the ball. Now, I know that some controversy. There was some, I won't say controversy, but people were complaining about the penalties on Washington for the holding. Some holding on the O-lineman. There was one big pass to Dunze that got called back. You know what I'm saying? If people felt like Washington fixes in for Michigan to win, the refs kind of had Michigan was in the refs' back pocket. So I get that aspect. In these big championship games, when calls or these penalties that seem like can stop momentum from the team, these 50-50 penalties, yeah, people will talk. So, but aside from the penalties, man, just from a physicality standpoint, one team looked like they belonged on there, the other team didn't, right? Both teams had the same amount of time to rest and everything. I know Washington's running back, I think it's Dylan. He came, he tried to play. He was hurt. He really tried. Wasn't enough. Only had like 30-some yards rushing or whatever. So he was pretty much no factor. And I know a big part of what Washington does is, having a run game, and they didn't have a run game. And Michigan did. And Michigan, really, all they needed was a run game. Two guys rushing for over 100 yards. That was murder she wrote, right? It was a wrap. But yeah, like I said, Mike Penix, biggest loser tonight. He'll still be a first rounder, I believe, but being a top 10 pick, he didn't do himself any service, right? Not really his fault per se, but he did miss some throws. But at the same time, Michigan, you gotta give Michigan credit. Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, and the whole staff getting these guys ready to play, and really showing who's the better team out there, right? So kudos to Michigan, man. Mike Penix, yikes. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave me your thoughts. I'm out.